Now, I wouldn't say that we're airport experts. We don't go on too many vacations. Usually, we go back to our home countries of Barbados or Austria and a sprinkling of vacation here and there. But I do think that leaves us with just enough experience to tell you guys about what it's like catching any sort of plane from Dublin Airport. Now, if this was 2022, I might put the infamous Dublin Airport ahead of it, but I think it's better now. Or maybe because I'm not standing in the line that it's better now. But I do think that since it hasn't been reported in the news media, that things are going generally better there this year. So let me give you a list of some of the things that we've learned from our experience of going to Dublin Airport. Of course, before I forget, I'm the run, one half of Wine and Rum. Yeah, the wine has discovered one of my favorite but series Wheel of Time, so she's busy in the other room reading. Yeah, she'll join us for some few videos later, but for now, her number one priority is the book. If you like fantasy stuff, check it out. But if you also like hearing people talk about their life here in Ireland and just basically live in another country that's not their birth country, yeah, also like and subscribe because that's what we do here. But before you catch any flight to the airport, you need to actually get there. And here's where your first bit of trouble might come in. Now, we actually live not too far from the airport. Right now, when it's time for us to go to the airport, we go in a lap of luxury. That is called a taxi. Not exactly a lap of luxury, but it costs money, but it's not as, strenuous of when we used to go there. Now, for some reason, whenever we go to Austria and Barbados, all the flights that we need to get there are usually early, especially Barbados. There's no direct flight yet, so I kind of need to go to, either Heathrow or Gatwick first, so everything requires an early morning flight. And to make the most of the day if you're going to Austria as well, nothing like an early morning flight. So we have actually never gone to the airport at what someone might call a sensible time. It's always before the sun rises for flights that leave between 6 and 8 a.m. Naturally, this means that we gotta get up there really early. Now, with a taxi, it's pretty easy. You kind of pre-book it, hope that they'll show up at, 4 something in the morning to get you there. But when we used to live in our old flat, that was a bit of a trek. I don't think it's there yet, but there was a sort of Dublin Airport bus that we used to catch to go to the airport. And you'd see us early in the morning before the sun rises there trying to jog/walk, more fast walking to the actual bus stop to try and get this bus. Now, there's an interesting thing that when we went to the old place in Dublin 8, where the bus used to pick you up or actually start from was actually near to that street. See, the wine's the one good with all the street names, but that street where, we were going there, it was probably 4 or 5 waiting for the bus. And as we were arriving to get the bus, you saw the people, getting kicked out of the clubs and that. It was kind of a message that, wow, we are waking up way too early if people are now crawling back from the clubs in order to go home. That used to be a trek. It wouldn't be that bad, but we'd always be surprised by the amount of people on the actual bus by the time we get to Dublin Airport after it goes through a bit from a little bit of that south side to the north side area. I think that used to take us, it used to go by the tunnel. So it wasn't like an entire hour, it's more like 30, 40 minutes. So we used to get there at a decent time. Going by taxi from where we are, we're rather close, so it takes about half of that. But either way, the further you're away, please take whatever measures you need to get to the airport early. Because without fail, you will be greeted, even if it's 4 a.m., to a boatload of people. Well, it's not a port, but yeah, you get what I mean. And how do you encounter this mass group of people? Well, if you're parking your car, sure, I guess the car park is full, but we don't have a car, so we get dropped off. It's when you start going to the checkouts. Now, before we, got some higher paying jobs, every trip for us was Ryanair trips. Like, yes, I know. We all catch Ryanair, we can't avoid it. I do avoid it now these days when I can, but for reasons that are less monetary and more just trying to avoid the annoyance of it. But the check-in lines. Last year, anyone that lived through it, everyone was showing up early to the airport. It was a mess. But Dublin Airport is busy. Usually go to Terminal 2 it is, and it is like busy from 4 a.m. Just people, just people. We usually do right now Aer Lingus because, we get that, automated more kind of check-in because anything to avoid sitting in lines. Because of course, I am not a EU native from Barbados, which means that even though I don't need a visa, certain airlines, cough Ryanair, would make you sit in a line, even if you have nothing to check in, to make sure that, hey, you can travel to destination without a visa. I get it, that's part of the procedure, but it used to mean that we'd have to sit with these lines of people for a very long time while, we just sit and wait. For Aer Lingus now, they already know I don't need a visa, so I just boom, 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 put the bags, measure, so on and so forth. Easy and simple. So if you're from a non-EU country and you need to have the check to see, hey, do you have a visa or not? Yeah, that may add some more time on if you're going to catch Ryanair or some other airlines. I don't know about the other airlines, but if you want to avoid that, please do check. It saves you a lot of sanity when you're just there standing in line and you don't need to check in anything and you're just standing there being quite annoyed. Now, being that we show up at the airport at an unmerciful time of about 4 a.m., we are hungry. And we learned that, no, I don't need to wait until you get on the flight to try and get some food there. No, if you're there for breakfast, try and get some food there at the airport. I don't know about Terminal 1. I think I know Terminal 2 after security. It is usually full and packed and so on. So we used to just avoid that area and made a mistake of going further down to wherever the gate the gate for the flight is. And yeah, not recommended. There was stuff like sandwiches and stuff, which is fine. But if you travel this way, you're hungry. And if you're not going to land there, unless you want to buy some somewhat overpriced, I guess it is overpriced food on the airplane, that may not be, what you're feeling at the time, then best to have a meal there in the airport. It took us several trips there to actually learn this lesson because we would try different sandwich places closer until we finally decided, no, needs to do better than this. Because whenever we used to see lines, we used to just walk by thinking it would take too long. This is how we spent almost 5 years in the country without having butlers. I know, it's a crime. But one day we did join the butler's line. I get it with the hot chocolate covered coffee or whatever. And the free, well, not free, but the extra chocolate they give you. Mwah, perfection. And we started going there and was like, hey, this isn't a bad way to start the day. And then for the last 2 times, 2 times at least, yeah, because we had long trips ahead of us and we didn't fly for a while. We're like, how about if we actually sit them somewhere and eat? So that's what we started doing. Getting there early enough so we can sit down, have some sort of breakfast, chill, and then go to the gates, which is something we can do when, you know which gate it's going to be. And how do we know that? Our friend the airport app. Another thing I'm embarrassingly only discovered this year that, I don't need to go to look at screens. I can get updates and check-ins and, I don't think the push notifications are there anymore, but very, very, very useful to be able to see, hey, which gate I could go to. And it helps us not, spend too much time there trying to eat something. I know we're not the type that it's 5 a.m. and we're going to get an alcoholic beverage. I do love to see it. It's a vibe, but not the kind of vibe that I'll be partaking in. Of course, there's security. Not too much about security. I mean, it's generally well managed, I think. There is a thing that, is going to be much better because we have encountered where they have some of the machines where you actually don't need to take stuff out of your bag. I mean, technology, you gotta love it. Queues where you don't need to take anything off, or, not anything off, but, don't need to unpack your bag. That is lovely. I love that. Anytime I see a queue like that, I hope and cross my fingers that I get to join it. I've joined it twice now and it's made stuff generally a breeze. I can't wait until everywhere has that sort of, scanning equipment where you don't need to take stuff out of your bag. Wonderful. But other than that, it's pretty short. It's go through security. It's standard now. But besides that, what you also need to make sure to do is know where your gate is. Hey, Dublin Airport may not be as huge compared to others, but you can walk. You can walk, and it will make you walk. Especially, Ryanair, yes. But I've had to walk some distances with Aer Lingus too, especially coming back to Dublin Airport. And if they don't have a gate kind of open there, the length of time that you can walk. So please, if you see that gate number thing and there's a certain amount of time, so you don't rush, please start walking. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Everything is so much better when you don't need to rush and you can just be there in peace. And also, this is another interesting thing. Well, when the first time I came to the airport, I didn't quite know about Honesty Water. I think it was the one that introduced me to it or said, oh yeah, this thing that where, you might pay a euro or such, and there's just water there. So you kind of like, they trust you to be able to pay the euro or whatever it was, pick up the water. I haven't seen it for a bit, or I just haven't really paid attention to it. These days we go to one of the water refills that they have and we refill our bottle after we pass through security. So that's the thing. If you want water or so on, or whatever you do. But from then on, it's pretty straightforward. I don't have too many complaints. I think that once you get past the lines at the check-in and you get there, that's usually the craziest part over with. Other flights are delayed or something like that, I don't have any advice for that. It's just like best of luck that it doesn't happen to you. Dublin Airport, generally, I think if for us with early flights, the hardest part is getting there that early. But once we're there, it's pretty nice. I think that early morning flights have less of a likelihood of being, cancelled or delayed. So I think that's part of our good experience. I think that if we were flying to certain places more in the afternoon or the evening, we would get more of a chance to be disappointed by the entire system. But for now, yeah, it definitely fits our purposes. And yeah, we do wish that there was a metro. I know we've been here long enough. I swear that in a video when we first came here, we talked about this metro, and I was like, yeah, no, years will pass. And I think they'll start building it. We've been here for 6 years. I should have just believed the Irish people when they were like, nah, they've been talking about this thing for so long. It's not coming. And I've been here. I'm like, nah, still not here. Anyways, that's another rant for another day. I hope you found this useful. What are your experiences there going through Dublin? I'm pretty sure there'll be some crazy headache stories. Always when I go to the airport, just pray that it's nice, simple. It's one of those everyday things that should just run smoothly, but when it runs smoothly, it's great, no complaints. It's one of those things that when it doesn't, oh boy, do you remember it? Anyways, that's all from me today. Hey, if you like this, please drop a like, subscribe, and I'll be back for another video. When? I don't know. If you know how it goes around here, but hopefully very soon. See ya. Bis später.